Donald Trump's appearance at the Libertarian Party's National Convention on Saturday was unprecedented. The former president began his speech by urging the delegates to nominate him as their candidate.
DeRoy wrote, Donald J. Trump will address the Libertarian Party at its National Convention on Saturday. The Libertarian Party should nominate Trump for President of the United States. Whoa. That's nice. That's nice. Only if you want to win. Only if you want to win. Maybe you don't want to win.
Despite being booed, Trump's speech highlighted his attempts to court the party's support. The former president likely found common ground with libertarians on issues like limited government and individual liberties. The decision to invite Trump sparked outrage among some party members who saw it as compromising the party's integrity. Our next guest is a fourth-generation North Dakotan. He's a medical professional and a rock-solid conservative who served a decade in state government. He's now running for U.S. Congress. Dr. Rick Becker, welcome to Victory News.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, Trump did a rally in Minnesota, then in the Bronx, New York, and now at the Libertarian National Convention, which was the least friendly audience he stood before. What does it say that Trump is going into deep blue and hostile crowds compared to Joe Biden?
Well, I think it says a lot about his character and his understanding of how he's going to win the election. Our typical politician just sticks with their solid base. They don't want to feel uncomfortable. They don't want to be held accountable. But Trump is going out and sending his message of winning, his message of freedom to all areas. And that's how he's going to convert people. So going to the Bronx is brilliant. Going to the Libertarian convention was gutsy. But again, smart, because I think that he was able to show that there is some commonality. America First is generally going to be a principle espoused by libertarians, certainly by President Trump. There are a number of areas, so I think it's brilliant.
Okay, we've got some Supreme Court rulings coming up to include presidential immunity, rulings on January 6 defendants, 2 Second Amendment, 3 First Amendment, social media rulings, and 2 abortion cases. Is there one of these or 2 of these decisions that you're looking at that'll have the greatest impact on Americans?
Yeah, all very important. First, Second Amendment, abortion, such important issues. What I'm really looking at, though, is the January 6th as well as presidential immunity. The reason I'm focused on those is because I think those rulings will determine how we go forward. We can't have political prisoners. We can't have a banana republic where we go after elected officials and imprison them, weaponize government agencies to go after them. This is a step we don't want to take, and I'm hoping that these rulings will put us back into a more secure, more stable political environment.
Let's talk about your home state. North Dakota is an energy state. The Biden administration has been highly restrictive against traditional energy sources. Now the U.S. Transportation Secretary Buttigieg went on Face the Nation yesterday, defended the eight EV charging stations that have been built over 2 years with the Biden promise of 500,000 by 2030. Your reaction to all of this?
Well, I think it's par for the course. We have a progressive environmental extremist agenda, and they're trying to implement it no matter the cost, no matter whether American citizens are on board or not. And what we see with these progressive agendas is they inevitably fail. This one is obviously failing and at great cost to the taxpayer. I'm glad that it's out there for everyone to see what a huge failure it is, certainly prior to this next election.
Okay, recent article showed your home state, North Dakota, as a top 10 career destination for Gen Zers. It raised a few eyebrows among some. Why do you think that's the case, and were you surprised at that?
Well, I'm hoping that this is a good indicator of where Gen Zers are going to be, because the reason a young person would look at North Dakota is recognizing it's low crime, it's low regulation, it's low tax, it's a great place to raise your future family. It's a great place to raise kids. So I hope, and I think that's probably what they're considering.
You want to leave that wonderful place and head to the swamp. So what are the main issues you will address if you're elected to Congress?
Well, I want to set America back on course. I think debt, the spending that money we don't have and burdening our future generations with tackling the problems that we somehow seem to resist wanting to address. That is putting us at the biggest risk. Number one thing I want to address is not spending more money than we have, not doing these crazy omnibus spending bills, really be hyper-focused on doing the job at hand.
Yeah, to your point, we're spending $1 trillion every 100 days on interest. You will be part of the ones that hold the purse strings. How are you going to do that? Real quick.
Well, we have a core group of people in Congress right now. A few more will join them. We will become a critical mass that can leverage what we have so that we can force the proper spending that should have been going on for the last number of decades.
Dr. Rick Becker, sir, thank you for taking the time on Memorial Day to be with us on Victory News.
Mike, Judge Juan Merchan, the New York judge presiding over Donald Trump's case alleging he falsified business records, was hit with an official ethics complaint and accused of judicial misconduct on Tuesday. Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik of New York posted the complaint on X, slamming the judge for being in clear violation of the rules of judicial conduct for the New York State Unified Court System due to his family directly enriching itself from the trial against Trump. The complaint emphasized Merchan's daughter working for a major Democratic campaign group. Stefanik highlighted judicial rules demanding a judge recuse himself if anyone within a 6th degree of relationship to him has an interest in that could be substantially affected by that proceeding. Joe Biden reportedly plans to deliver a public address from the White House following the verdict in Donald Trump's hush money trial. According to the Daily Wire, the president aims to avoid any appearance of political bias as the trial comes to an end this Tuesday, with Biden's team emphasizing the functioning of the American legal system. If Trump is found guilty in the so-called hush money trial, Biden's team is expected to argue against Trump's suitability for another term. Conversely, preparations are being made for potential backlash if Trump is acquitted. Greg?